Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Bone Podcast, Friday, September 13th. Today, we are going to discuss the major announcement from Donald Trump on his World Liberty Financial DeFi project. Going to discuss Azuki's acquisition of anime.com, and then, of course, play week 10 of Top Dog, everybody's favorite Friday, everybody's favorite Friday game. Sig, how you doing this morning?
Oh man, I'm good. I just went on Polymarket on an old account that I didn't know that I had, and I just logged into it by accident. I got some cash sitting in there. I won a bet, which I completely forgot that I put on. I only put a small amount, but who cares? It's Friday. It's free money. Let's get into it.
That's epic. That's epic. Well, we'll have to dive into the weather report. It seems like you're ready. Quickly, first, we are going to let you know that the show is brought to you in partnership with Bubble Maps. We're going to have a special segment later in the show to detail just how to use the Bubble Maps platform to avoid getting rugged on token trades. Ray has Bubble Maps user interface pulled up on screen right now, which is super cool. Easy. Can you give any additional detail to what people need to know about Bubble Maps?
This needs to be in your everyday tool set if you're still trading meme coins. Even if meme coins, you're not trading them, but you find one you want to buy, it's worth taking a look at on this. We can see even right here, they do a great job outlining. So if you're watching the stream on YouTube, you can see the visuals. Bubble Map breaks down individual wallets and a ton. Like this is like the one tool I use every single day in Web3. Every single day. I couldn't tell you the last time I have not used this. It's built right into BullX as well, which I'm a huge fan of. So being able to work with both of those organizations is an absolute home run. But it tells you so much information in such a concise and easy to read format. Like even right now, we're looking at Book of Meme, and it outlines the Binance pool, the Radium pool, Gate.io, Bybit, all these exchanges. So you know who holds the majority of supply. You know where that capital is, who's moving what and where. It's great for new launches, specifically because you can see if a deployer wallet has bought the majority of the supply, which will inevitably rug you, or if a single wallet has transferred it out. So even here, what we're showing is transfers, where that green has all these connected dashed lines, showing that one person has been sending it to different locations, wallets that interact with each other. It's the best analytical tool, in my opinion, for everything on chain. And it just shows the strength of blockchain technology because it's an immutable ledger. So just simply put, you're able to see where coins are going, how often wallets interact with one another, and just be able to analyze that information to know, is this a good coin to get into? Should I exit here? Is this coin going to inevitably dump because one person holds 60% across multiple wallets? Like this is the go-to tool for everything, even DeFi. It's great for because you can figure out like where LPs are being provided. Is it one person basically stacking the LP? Could they pull it later? Is it one person buying across multiple wallets to dump later? Is it truly an organic holder base with a ton of fresh wallets? It is the best tool, in my opinion, bar none.
Ray's got an enormous bubble, no pun intended, on screen that just says in all caps, "Don't get rugged, use Bubble Maps at bubblemaps.io." Well, that's definitely a good call to action there, Ray. I just think the comical size of that bubble is, I guess, appropriate given it's Bubble Maps, but it was pretty funny on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening, just to give you some kind of like insight into the user interface of Bubble Maps, Easy just kind of broke down the use of the platform. It's a very simple, user-friendly UI, yet sophisticated, that shows you with literal bubbles the wallet clusters that are holding a given coin. So the idea here is to be able to identify, where the large clusters of holders are and kind of where you're at. I'd imagine that as time goes on, people will be able to kind of chart these coins and say, oh, that's a really good looking bubble map or something, because patterns will kind of start to come about that show what a bullish.
It's literally what I do. You just said it perfectly. Is like when a coin launches and I'm watching up and down price action and I'm seeing more bubbles populate on a down price, I'm like, oh, this dip might be good because new holders are entering. If you're seeing one wallet, or even like one of the nice things is tags, you'll end up seeing tags on certain wallets like Smart Money, Whale, long-term holders, and you can actually identify those wallets with tags to know if like multiple Smart Money wallets are buying the dip. Who's are the large wallets buying more on down action? So between charts and Bubble Map, there's no two better tools to just analyze any real-time price action.
Yeah, it's essentially a crypto native, an on-chain technical indicator. So super cool stuff. Everybody that is into trading, it's absolutely a necessary tool to have in your toolbox. Big shout out to Bubble Maps. Go to bubblemaps.io, spelled exactly how you think. Bubblemaps.io. Very, very cool product. Really pumped to be partnering with them. Signal, why don't we jump into this weather report? Let's rock and roll. Oh, and actually, real quick, so Sig's muted. Real quick, while Sig unmutes, this Poto Best just reminded me. So we're not going to go on break. We had been talking about, because of the complexity of going to Asia as an entire squad, we were going to take a break from the podcast. It was going to be at least a week, but maybe 2 weeks of a break. And we wouldn't be doing our morning show at 9 a.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, like we have been for the past 3 years. But Ray has come to the rescue and raised his hand and said that he will host the podcast with Signal and Kicks and the occasional drop-in from the Asia squad, if you will. And maybe we'll even reach out to some people that aren't normally on the show that we think might be able to contribute during that time too. And so there will not be any break. You will be rocking with Ray. We're going to make a shirt, rocking with Ray, for the 2 weeks while we are in Asia. So if you hate Ray, then you might not be happy about this. But in any other situation, I think you're going to be pretty good to go. And I'm going to tell you that, you're going to be in really good hands with Ray, Kicks, and Sig. And, of course, the occasional drop-in from the Asia squad. So big shout out to Ray. Really good shit. Really pumped about that. So no break from the show, just Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Sig isn't on Wednesdays, but you guys can figure out how to deal with that. Sig, please take it away with the weather report.
Absolutely. I'll try not to be muted this time. So let's get into the last one of the week. It's Friday. It's September 13. Let's look over at that crypto roundup. The majors, they're even on the day with Bitcoin just under 58,000, Ethereum at 2,350, and Solana at $132. The largest mover amongst the top 100 coins was Pol. This is obviously formerly Matic. That's up 13% on the day and crossed over the 3 billion market cap mark. Over the last 24 hours, top 3 stories were, firstly, Donald Trump announced the September 16th launch of his DeFi project, World Liberty Financial, a massive coup for the space because he will be releasing details live on Twitter Space, hosted by the one and only Rug Radio next Monday. Next up is FTX. They unstaked 24 million of Sol from their staking wallet. After withdrawing, this leaves just under 1 billion remaining. So still quite a bit of unstaking actually to do. And then lastly, Azuki. We've got NFTs. They're back in the news this week. Azuki purchased the anime.com domain with the goal to create a flagship platform for anime fans around the world. Azuki collections ran like the good old days, up 15% on the news, with their main collection holding a 5.3 ETH floor. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual. Well, look, the biggest story, I think, in our little corner of the internet is that Donald Trump has put out a video announcement of this crypto DeFi project. It is built on Aave. So all the Aave boys are probably pretty damn pumped up about this one. 70% was going to insiders in the initial draft of their white paper, with 30% available for public sale. And so, yeah, I mean, that's obviously an interesting component to it. But from Twitter, their mission, their goal is detailed as: our mission is crystal clear. Make crypto and America great by driving the mass adoption of stablecoins and decentralized finance. We believe that DeFi is the future, and we're committed to making it accessible and secure everywhere. The big question is, does this help or hurt his election odds? My boy, Fred Krueger, my pal Fred Krueger, said, I can't vote for the creator of World Liberty Financial. Keep in mind that Fred is a big time, I'd say, Bitcoin maximalist. So he is, I think, probably pretty irked by this. I also saw Max Kaiser was absolutely appalled. Easy, what's your take on this one?
I don't know how to feel, dude. I love Aave. If you haven't used Aave, it's like the most OG, best in brand DeFi product. I want to say like Aave was like the majority of Polygon volume too for a very long time. And seeing a bridge or a fork of Aave for a net new product, like I hope they try to do something new or innovative for it. At the same time, it makes me want to buy the Aave token personally, because I'm like, that's more interesting to me. A DeFi platform 45 days before the election feels like they're just introducing unnecessary risk personally. Like, yeah, damn, this thing's up 40% last month. This is a good coin, dude. This is a great chart.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful chart.
We've been like talking about this as like the top mover multiple times over the last few weeks. So like we've seen some like big time movement.
You want to pop open the all time on Aave real quick? Yeah. So I think Aave goes back to $500.
Wow.
Not even exaggerating. It's the premier DeFi product, like bar none. And when you look at something like this, where when it ran to that 500 mark, Ray, you want to hover the mouse over just for dates on that? I just want to see if that, happened in 21. So during that whole mania, November 21, that was actually August. Oh man, that's actually May. So that was end of DeFi summer, end of ETH DeFi summer, going into the NFT boom. I think this cycle will be largely meme coins and DeFi, almost entirely. It's why I'm bullish on things like Barachain. So I think that there will be some opportunity here from this Defiant. I just don't know why we need an Aave fork when this works so well. But if Defiant gets legs, inherently Aave will move more. And I think purely, like, dude, look at the Trump trading cards. This man sold $3 million on season 3 cards that you can't sell till January of next year. And like, it's absurd. The support is crazy that this guy has. So if he can do anything that makes it easy for people to take funds and put them into a protocol for non-crypto natives, inherently that's bullish. Like, plain and simple, that's bullish for Aave. So I don't look at it as like a trade on Defiant. I look at it as a trade on Aave itself. And I think that's the actual like sleeper play here that a lot of people are overlooking because it is that fork. On top of that, like DeFi in general, we've seen every one of the Trump kids has a little bit of drama when it comes to crypto. A little bit of drama. Barron with Martin Shkreli, Eric Jr. or Donald Jr. and Eric with ice bags. Like all of them have a little bit of drama with the cryptos. So now seeing Donald Trump actually endorse something is going to be really interesting. And I'm a DeFi maxi. Like to this day, I LP. I do a lot of stuff on chain that like I let my stables work. I'm in like PayPal USD because of the fat yield it gets right now. There's like stuff like that I think a lot of people overlook. So I think if you can make this normie friendly and you have this cult backing that's willing to give you $3 million to buy trading cards on chain, Defiant could be really interesting. Also, I gotta give a shout out to Rug Radio, man. Seeing their logo on the video was surreal. I was like, oh, that's badass. That's badass. And shout out Farouk Fantasy top card holders. That card went 2.5x on the news. Kudos to them. And shout out the Rug Radio NFT holders up 40% as well on the back of the video. I think that on top of this, I'm going to say it. And I don't know if you guys placed your poly market bets, but I'd be hammering the Threadguy to interview Donald Trump line before the end of October. I'd be hammering it.
But a spaces question doesn't count, right?
The Rug Radio team will be in person.
So there
also
you go.
streaming spaces. So if TG goes there, that's interesting. And on top of that, you got to remember there's a little bit of interest because now the team has a direct line to this team, to the Donald Trump team. So inherently there should be potentially some conversation that could come in which they try to get Threadguy the interview. I think that this is a solid opportunity here to take a swing at.
Very interesting. Sig or Ray, you were going to throw something in?
Yeah, I'm like thinking about like, I don't think he does it, but I think you could swing trade it potentially. Like, I think that like, if you hear like Threadguy on the space, like even if he's not live and you buy it, like people may be like confused as to like thinking it's actually an interview.
But Ray, all it takes is a Threadguy picture on an airplane on Sunday for this to send. That's all it takes.
That's like,
a Threadguy Sunday airplane picture, a Monday morning airplane picture, and this skyrockets to 70-80%.
At least to 50. At least to 50. I feel like that's on
this market's irrational. Look at the capital, $64,000. It's a very illiquid poly market. So the lines and the swings will be way more aggressive than some of the election odds. Like literally, look at this. This goes up. Trade yes. Those are sells. Those are
we're buying yes. So if you're trying to buy yes, you can only buy like you're going to be buying it to 70 cents. You can only get like $400
up to 70 cents for $400. $400 worth of yes sends
that's insane. That is completely insane.
If I'm holding this bag right now, I'm listing at 69 cents purely because of the illiquidity. I'm listing it and just hoping that I get bought out for a 3.5x. and just putting it there. There's no liquidity on this, and I think that's what a lot of people overlook. Is like 64K's baby money in Polymarket books.
That
I
is
actually think this
hilarious.
is the third best bet you could make today on Polymarket, and there's two other ones like I actually like mentioned.
Third
in the call
best.
sheet.
What's number one and number two, Ray?
Well, we talked about the one. We talked about Blonde Broker on yesterday's show.
Oh, so Ray's a blonde broker bull.
And then I think like the Trump dropping a coin before the election.
Oh,
So that's going to be the interesting thing because Defiant has a coin, but it's a non-tradable governance token. So
I don't think there's
that
going to be, but easy. I don't think that will be tradable before the election, because if you think about his NFTs, he purposely did not make them tradable because he doesn't probably want to be sued again, like running up into this election.
Nothing about the yes here says that it has to be tradable.
Just
does market result the yes if there's a conclusive, definitive evidence that Donald Trump was involved in the deployment of a new token. Defiant goes live. There is a token on Defiant. We just don't know when that token will be live. So theoretically, that token could come out later. We know there's a token though, and that's why this has ran from 40 cents to 70 in the last day.
Okay, this one's juicy. Just to put the bow on the Trump thing, I love how he just is able to do anything he wants with crypto because nobody in the mainstream understands it at all, and they won't even know how to report on it. And so, like, they're just like, we're just leaving it alone. Like, I don't like what mainstream media outlet. I just feel like they can't even discuss it because they can't even say that it's like bad without saying that he raised X millions of dollars. And if people find out that he raised X millions of dollars, then they're like, holy shit, he's making a bunch of money. So that signals strength. So it seems like mainstream media is like, we're just not going near it. We're not touching it. Which is pretty hilarious. Blade said it's a lose-lose. If the project does well, his crypto voters will continue to get his vote. If the project fails, he could very well lose votes. I just feel like if the project fails, nobody's going to care. Well, first of all, just even saying if the project fails is like funny to me.
I think people will care. No, but I think people will care because if it does well, it's an opportunity for crypto to be seen in a new light. If he goes on to win president and he has his project and keeps actually, just keeps running it, then it's an opportunity for crypto to be seen in a new light and Bitcoin to run off that speculation. But if the project fails, then unfortunately just gets sort of put into the same bag as crypto is a scam. Donald Trump is a scammer. Lots of people don't like. It's so easy to spin a negative narrative around crypto with Donald Trump. So. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, because people did care before the Bitcoin conference. Bitcoin ran because Donald Trump was going to be the keynote speaker. And now all of that has been pretty much priced in and Bitcoin's not moving, even though he's come out saying he's doing this thing on Monday. So nobody really cares at this point. But at the same time, I feel like if he becomes president and he actually wins and continues with this project, there's a potential opportunity that crypto could be seen in a different light if he does it well, or bad light if he does it badly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I think we're giving way too much credit to the crypto vote. If the crypto vote seriously had any staying power, either candidate would have mentioned Bitcoin or cryptocurrency at any point since the Bitcoin conference. The only reason we got any mention of it before was because he was speaking at the Bitcoin conference. Neither candidate has said a singular mention of cryptocurrency since that conference, thus making me believe both parties' internal teams have decided that vote does not have any major swing.
Yeah, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Nothing matters except the humans in like 8 states. Like Crazy. Literally nothing matters except Crazy. If you live in like one of 8 states. And by the way,
specifically,
those
two.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if you're in Pennsylvania or maybe Ohio, that's like this bet that Ray has pulled up. This is the big bet, not like for people to make money on, but for you to look at to see who's going to win this fucking thing. This is how close the race is this bet, which is Pennsylvania presidential election winner. All that matters is the people in 8 states. And I don't think it's just a bunch of crypto people. Like I don't think the crypto vote's going to sway Pennsylvania, No,
God, no. They talked enough about fracking and oil. That's about the only damn thing that state cares about. But yeah.
But on the other hand, actually, I kind of disagree with you on that. This race is 50-50. The crypto vote does matter. And I'm not saying that because I'm in the space. I'm saying that because he needs the marginal votes. He really needs to get those extra people. And if if the difference is the Republicans like crypto, and therefore there might be some single issue voters out there who are like, okay, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, he's won. I think this race is so close that every industry really does count. How they talk about crypto, how they talk about oil, how they talk about healthcare. It will make the difference at the end of the day. And I know in the US, you guys have your swing states, like you're talking about these 8 swing states, but within those 8 swing states, there are key industries. So I think at 50-50, both teams need to come out swinging and trying to grab whatever vote they can. And Trump is going hard for the crypto vote.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see. Yeah, Pennsylvania is the big state. We'll have to see how Pennsylvania shakes out. Moving on from Donald Trump to Azuki, very well known and you know, arguably one of the top NFT organizations, ecosystems, whatever you want to call it. Azuki purchased the anime.com domain. I wonder how much that cost, with the goal to create, quote,
$27,000, by the way.
No way.
Yeah, I think that was the tweet going around today.
20
Vagabond say it was like wasn't that much.
That isn't that much.
I think it was 27K. Somebody found the domain listing because domain trading is all public. It's like a very public market, aside from like OTC deals, and I think they had last sale sub 30K.
That's insane. If Nick had known that it was on the market for 27K, he would have bought it immediately. He's obsessed with buying domains, and anime.com for 27K would be so cheap. He would love to buy that. Well, that's actually fascinating that they only had to spend 27K on that. That's an absolute steal. And if it ends up if they end up actually making like a valuable business with it, in like 15 years, it'll be like a, you know, business school case study on the acquisition of anime.com for only 27K in 2024. That's an insanely cheap price.
Zero. I'm trying to find it. I think it might have been 270. I remember seeing the 27, and even at 270K, I still think it's cheap. I'm trying to find the tweet because I saw it. I should have bookmarked it. Whatever they paid though, it was free. Like comparatively for anime.com, like that should be a multi-million-dollar URL. When the anime audience is so massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure NFT.com, this is wild because NFT.com was in the millions. I think it was like 10, 12 million, something like that. For basically what was not an industry even 5-6 years ago. Like no one would have cared if you had NFT.com 7 years ago. And yeah, in 2021, I think it sold for around 10 or 12 million. So to get anime, a word that people actually use all the time, for 27,000, that is wildly good.
It was
Definitely.
270.
Oh, 270. Okay, so that is, I do agree with you, Easy, that's still a good price, but that is a bigger bet than 27K. I would have personally just I would have just bought anime.com for
270K was the number I saw. 270K, which I still think is a steal. To Sig's point, the reason that I think NFT.com had a premium was 3-letter, like ENS's. 3-letter domains do sell at a premium, like any 3-letter, because of the ease of it. But yeah, like that was, I think it shocked a lot of people. Somebody had found it and shared a screenshot. I'm trying to find the exact thing to search on Twitter for it. But
270K makes sense though. Well, it makes sense that it's still a good price. But obviously that's, you know, spending $300,000 on a domain is like a big-ish bet, you know, kind of. It's still a good price. Don't get me wrong. It's still a good price. Like you can easily make a case that anime.com is a 7-figure domain. Although I'm not a domain expert. If Nick was here, he would have a lot to say about this. But yeah, it's a good price in my opinion. 270K anime.com for Azuki to buy it. I like the move. The Azuki collections ran 10 to 15% on the news, with their main collection holding a 5.3 Ethereum floor. It's interesting any way you spin it. It's an interesting thing to have happen. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
I mean, I really like but I actually think what they, first of all, go to the website. It's a really good website. You basically end up minting these sort of like stickers, if you like. There's a waiting list. You get 3 of them, and that's pretty much it. Then you just join a waiting list and you see what you know, is going to come out in the future and what they're going to announce. But the fact is, what I like that they're building here is that it is about the anime community. It's not just about Azuki. And last week or earlier in the week, I was talking about how out of this race, every team is doing a different playbook, and Doodles are doing like, the whole IP, the film festival, Pharrell, that's kind of their lane. You got Klanos, they've got their show that's happening. You got Azuki now, they're doing the anime community. And so like you've got these like, let's say 5, 6 leader names in the space, all doing their own thing. Some are bringing the community, others are not choosing to really include the community. And because there's no playbook as to how this is done well, I still think that this is that there's 5 or 6 names are potentially quite interesting to make a bet on in terms of holding some of the assets from these communities. And some of these assets have sold off so much that if you were to say, a Doodle a couple of weeks ago was probably like sub 2 ETH. Holding one in your wallet for the next 5 to 7 years could probably be quite a good bet. Same for Azuki. I think basically taking a bet on, let's say, between the 5 to 7 names in this space who are actually doing something, and we're seeing them do something now, is worth it. And it just stays in your portfolio, and then you just see how this plays out, because these teams really are putting in like that. They're hiring the best people in the anime space. I mean, Azuki, I'm talking about. They're hiring the best people in the anime space, experience from the animation community. Even though everybody still thinks of it as a rug, I kind of think, or what Zagabond did as the rugs, I kind of think he's proved himself at this point that it isn't, and they're actually building something.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big buy for sure, and they made that cool anime. That was super cool. Easy.
Their YouTube views are crazy. If you haven't taken a look at them, they're actually all like in the 2 videos they've put out, both in the millions. And their Instagram shorts, reels. I don't have an Instagram, so I don't know the word. No, the Azuki Instagram is insane. They have a ton of views on it. So the actual, so if you scroll down,
while they're printing on YouTube,
yes, 556 on the sisters, and then they had the first episode of I forget what Enter the Garden.
Yeah,
the first Enter the Garden, 1.9 million. So like they're doing really well, dude. Yeah, and that's the Elementals teaser. If you remember, that actually went viral on TikTok. I think they got over 100 million views on TikTok on the Azuki Elementals trailer. So the thing is, the quality of it is that this is an anime that people see. The name fits the anime meta, and the visuals are really well done. And I'm not a huge anime guy. Like, I've seen Dragon Ball Z. People say that doesn't count. I've seen Death Note. I've seen some of these like.
You say Dragon Ball Z doesn't count?
Yeah, that it's too like because it was on Cartoon Network. It's like, yeah, that doesn't fucking count.
It's
whatever.
like gringo. It's gringo anime.
Yes.
Granime.
Yes. Quite literally that. Death Note is probably the one that a lot of people are like, oh, so you're just a basic anime nerd. Like, I like anime. I think it's cool. It's adult cartoons, whatever. This genre, though, has the most diehard cult community out of anybody, dude. Like, if you don't know, like, the anime maxis are such maxis that they'll find a singular anime and actually they'll die over it. Like, Attack on Titan is a very popular one that just concluded. When that finale happened, you could watch grown men fist fight over their thoughts on how that ended. It was the wildest thing. I had a roommate right after college who loved Attack on Titan, and he would sit on Reddit arguing with grown adults about it. I was like, this is fucking nuts. This is the other thing, is these reels, all multiple 100,000s to millions of views. Like, they are crushing the IP, and they just don't talk about it. They just don't talk about it at all. They keep just dominating this. No mention of any sort of Web3 aspect of it at all. Just well done content, well done IP, and it's a sleeper, man. I got to give credit where credit is due. Azuki's when I did a deep dive in it Tuesday, I was totally caught off guard, completely caught off guard with how well they're doing.
If this doesn't result, like basically, if people that hold the NFTs are not interested or satisfied with the progress of this, then no one will ever be satisfied ever. This is actually pretty wild.
They licensed the characters. They did a huge thing right at the start where they licensed, I want to say, 20 characters for the anime and are paying the NFT holders. Like, it's similar to the Pudgy model where they're licensing toys. They're licensing. Oh, that's dope. Shout out to Azuki.
Are the Azuki people watching right now?
Sounds like they are. I will say they all reached out. They all reached out after I posted my thread.
They're scrolling through their YouTube. They're watching on YouTube, commenting.
That's so funny. That's so funny. The team actually hit me up after the thread and were like very appreciative of it. And I even had people ask if it was sponsored or paid, and I was like, no. I just appreciate people doing dope shit, and I'm happy to give credit where credit is due, because I've been cynical on Azuki, man. I've been a hater. When Clemente was a Bean Maxi, I was an asshole. But these guys have really turned it around, and I'm a big fan of what they're doing, man. I really am.
I forgot about it.
So funny. Clemente constantly selling at the wrong point of time. I mean, you couldn't write it any better. But just to add to Easy's point as well, I think anime must probably be one of the hardest niches, like to break into, because the lore in that community is die hard. Like, you can speak to people who grew up watching, I don't know, Fist of the North Star, and they're like, that is the best anime ever. And then there'll be that community that is die hard for that. So to see basically what was a brand that came out 3 years ago with just pictures, to have those kind of views today and actually is penetrating the anime space, and and people are liking it, I think that's super impressive. And this is why I feel like we can't just write off what some of these teams are good, where they're going to be in the next 2 to 3 years, because to get into anime is no easy feat. They're up against lore from Japan and and Far East Asia that's been around for as long as 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They're doing really well.
You guys want to see something funny?
Yeah, I do. But real quick, if Azuki leans heavy into the collectible side, the physical stuff, and they already are with beans and stuff, I think they can absolutely continue to dominate. That's the one thing I've seen the most in Asia, is the physical collectibles of animes I've never heard of that are sold out in claw machines all over stores with people aggressively spending. Like, the spend on this stuff is nuts.
Well, yeah, and real quick, just to add on this. So Sig and Jose Madojo, a longtime listener, frequent commenter, said anime is hard as hell to be good at. Obviously, I agree. What I would expand is making a fucking successful cartoon is hard to be. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's hard. Having any level of material success in the entertainment industry is insanely hard. It is not a given at any point. Good shows get canceled on HBO all the fucking time. Some of my favorite shows just get canceled for whatever reason. It's just how it works. The entertainment industry is insanely difficult. So to have any material success is incredible. What Easy just said about the physical collectibles is very cool too. And here's why I think it's really interesting is, given, first of all, I did not know about the level of success. I knew that there was popularity and there were hundreds of thousands of views on the YouTube channel for Azuki. I didn't know it was millions, and I didn't know they had an Instagram that's absolutely printing. And I didn't watch the full episode, and I just kind of scrolled through it now, and I'm like, wow, this is like insanely well done, right? To my untrained anime eye, but just from a cinematic perspective. The cool thing about animated stuff is that if you have really talented filmmakers, which most of the time you do for like highly produced anime, high budget cartoon stuff, you can make amazing films because there's no limits. So you can just draw these beautiful frames. And that's why people love like Miyazaki. And that's why people love even like the Pixar movies, the movie Coco or the movie Inside Out. These movies are so good because the filmmakers are just able to run wild because it's animated. You can do whatever you want and just make this beautiful film because you don't really have any limits of shooting IRL. On the collectible side, the reason that's really interesting is the people that love anime that are watching this Azuki YouTube channel, and let's say they keep going, and let's say it turns in from 1.5 million views to 5 to 10 million views. If you then drop a run of like 500 toys or 500 jackets, they already did those great jackets that they did way back in the day for the NFT audience. The difference is the audience that's watching these videos on YouTube and getting excited about this anime cartoon, they're not going to be weird about buying limited run collectibles. They're going to be like insanely jazzed up about it, right? There's not going to be any like you're trying to extract money from your holders or stuff like that. You can actually sell physical products to those people and they'll just get excited. And when they get it, they're like, holy shit, this is a figurine that's like this big. This is super cool. Or this is like a kick-ass jacket. There won't be any additional baggage with those folks. So I think this is super duper cool. Azuki's official account here saying that they're just an intern, bro. My boss doesn't know I'm here trying to play to the the Web3 lingo. That's probably literally the CEO of Azuki weighing in right there now.
I want to just add a couple things here.
Yeah.
Azuki has also hired 3 individuals who come from traditional entertainment to help manage the entire side of this, which I think is like the biggest thing that a lot of people have like kind of overlooked. They hired Stephen Chung as their COO, who led Fox and South Korean entertainment company CJENM. So they're like targeting the Asian audience. So they know what they're doing, man. Like
Well, absolutely. And let me add to that real quick. A lot of people don't know this if you haven't worked in the entertainment industry, is that the crypto money, like the amount of money that crypto companies have, successful crypto companies have, is buku money to the entertainment industry. So I'll just kind of like share this. I'm working with a comedy writer right now, and he is an Emmy award-winning comedy writer. He worked on John Oliver's show, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO. How much do you think this Emmy award-winning comedy writer costs?
100 an hour.
He's 75 an hour.
Damn, I was close, and I thought I was lowballing.
That's how much these people make. They don't have work. He's happy to work on a contract. Like literally, I paid him for an hour. Whoa, $75. Whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what these people make. Filmmakers are known to be broke. Like, if you tell someone that you have a $15,000 budget for a short film, they'll be like, holy shit, you're rich. You can do a lot with that. Filmmakers are used to work, like working on $1,000 budget. Ellie.jpg said, that's it. That's nothing. This is the entertainment industry. This is like, yes, does The Rock make a lot of money? Yeah, no shit. The Rock makes a lot of money. Does Kevin Hart make a lot of money? Yeah, but that's the literal tippity top brass, the absolute highest level that you can go. The animators that are working on like Inside Out, they're not making a lot of money. They're not making a lot of money. They're making an honest living in a small industry that they love to work in, that they have a lot of fun in, but they're not making a lot of money. Jose Madojo said, does Choose Rich Nick make money? Fuck yeah. That's pretty funny. Anyway, anything else on this before we move on? Or Ray wanted to show us something funny?
I was looking through our Discord, and when Azuki minted back in 2022, I shared the mint. I was talking about it, and Nick said, who the hell is paying 1 ETH for these?
That's before they ran to 20 ETH
in like a week.
Yeah, but that was at the time. I remember everybody was like 1 ETH because everything else before that, I think the highest up till then was probably like 0.4, 0.5, and they came out at 1. It was like scandalous. And then but I mean, everybody knows the story after that. But I'm kind of on Nick's side back in 2022 on that.
And real quick to close on this from Don't Feed the Wolf, who's rocking an Animal Azuki Elemental here. He said there's definitely a lot of passion in those industries. Like Pio says, people aren't paid well. They're taken advantage of because they're passionate and they have to work in these fields. That's part of it. But the other reason they're not paid well is there's actually just not that much money in the field, because the field is set up the way that it was in the 70s and 80s still. There's some advancement with the streaming and stuff, but not all of that is actually good. And they haven't caught up to like the way modern businesses should be run. So there's a lot of people at these organizations that will be replaced by either just technology or platforms that are still making a bunch of money. Some of the kind of business side, the sharks, the back end, the producers, people like, not the producers, but the execs. A lot of those people are eating off of the creative people, and that won't be the case anymore in the long term. And they haven't totally updated their models properly. They're slow. Like, dude, I'm talking to these entertainment industry people. Getting them to do a Google Meet to them is this insanely challenging thing. They don't understand. They're like, what do you mean? I asked one guy, a different Emmy award-winning comedy writer, what his email was. I only had his phone number. I was like, what's your email? I'm going to send you a calendar invite. He hard stopped me and was like, no. I was like, can I ask what your apprehension is to me sending you a calendar invite? He's like, I just think calling someone is much easier. I was like, all right, dude, like whatever you want. I'm going to FaceTime you at this time. Like, I don't even know what you want me to do here. Anyway, it's just a different world. And when you think about people that have crypto money from literally pressing a button, most people in crypto have money from like pressing a button once and then pressing it again. It's just a totally different animal. The money's barbecued. And if you try to run an entertainment industry company the way you run a crypto company, you're just going to get wrecked. Anyway, moving on, we're going to have a little fun segment here. We're going to do 2 segments back to back. First one is how to not get rugged, featuring bubble maps. So here we go. So in this segment, we're going to break down what to look for in bubble maps when buying a token to avoid being rug pulled. We will start looking at a few tokens that are interesting, and we'll take audience suggestions and do analysis on them as well. So we got a bubble. We got the BitGet token over here pulled up on the bubble map. So what are we looking at here? Nick, easy. You're muted.
This one's not pretty. I can tell you that much. It's probably one of the worst bubble maps you could possibly see.
Okay,
That top left.
Real quick. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're just listening, we got the bubble map pulled up. There's 3 massive clusters. Huge clusters.
Okay. Huge clusters. And so, Ray, you can actually drag these bubbles around if you want to spread them out a little bit, so we can actually kind of see a little bit on it. So you can see like the overlap. The overlapping bubbles doesn't have any major indication. It's more with the connections of them. So that far left one right now, it's a small green bubble with a million little bubbles off of it. A couple bigger ones.
Not literally a million, but yeah, there's a bunch of bubbles.
Yeah, a ton. So what that means is that this person with that big wallet in the middle bought a bunch of the token and then sent it out to all these small wallets.
Guy's
so
a piece of shit.
Absolute dickhead, dude. So you can actually see here on the left, there's some screen indications here. This is the 8th largest holder of it. The main wallet that they have holds 6% of the token. However, all of the wallets that they've sent tokens to accumulate or account for 25% of the token. So they own 25% of the supply, and we can see that they've just sent these funds around. They've been letting it fly, which is a terrible bubble map, because what this means is that as a user, as a buyer of this token, somebody means that they have 25% of the token that they can dump. 25% sell pressure in one candle, one wick, one transaction absolutely destroys a chart, of course. So that one is probably one of the leading indicators for what's known as bundling. And bundling is the main thing where, like, if a user bundles, has a bunch of wallets, it's a way for them to try to beat the system and make it look like there's a ton of holders, and scattering those transactions out to make it look like there's a bunch of holders, small percentages. It's a good chart.
It's someone being an absolute dickhead. So in other words, someone bought an ass load of the token and he's trying to hide it. Who is this guy? This guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's washing the tokens. He's washing the tokens, huh? He's gonna get busted.
I hope this guy watches us and knows that the jig is up. Bubble map's exposure. Look at this. Ray's moving and he's trying to get away, and the bubble map is pulling him back in. Fuck this guy.
So then we also have these 2 other ones, a purple and a green. It's purely just color discrepancy here, which we can actually just take a look at and see that these are larger wallets. Similar thing. One main wallet with 3 transactions across. These 4 wallets hold 30%. So right now across 2 clusters, we're sitting at 55% of the token. Over half the token is owned in 2 wallets. And then the third, the large green one, 45%. So 100% of this token is owned by 3 different users total. Despite on-chain, it looks like there's a couple hundred wallets holding this. So it's very easy to see here. I would never buy this token, ever. If I open this up and this is the first thing I saw, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Like,
if you buy this token, you're falling into a bear trap set by that guy. Like, literally, you're just like, you're entering his world, and he's like, getting excited to sink his teeth into you. Okay, so now we got ApeCoin. This is a big name token, ApeCoin. Ever heard of it? So this is the Bored Ape Yacht Club ApeCoin token.
This might be the best bubble map I've ever seen.
Okay.
Actually, tons and tons and tons of wallets, unique holders, small allocations, not a lot of transactions across. You can see in the middle, ApeCoin staking is the largest. So Bubble Map does a great job to identify these, whether it's an exchange. So you also have Binance in there, Bybit, OKX, Bitcoin Turk. I don't even know what BTC Turk is. I assume another exchange. And Ray, can you click that middle one that has some transfers in it in the dead center? So this one, okay, so yeah, this is the distributor. This is the deployer wallet, which makes sense why it has a lot of transfers out. So you can even identify who the deployer is and who the distributor is, which means there's about 15% of the token that has not been distributed yet, which also helps us identify how much pressure is going to be driving on the market, how much of this is going to be going elsewhere. It's a good way to identify like how much supply is still being sent out or will be sent out down the line. We can also identify the largest holders being exchanges. That's a good thing to see because it means that those exchanges are holding the majority of it. They're not going to dump on you. It just allows for liquidity from centralized and decentralized exchanges. And the smaller wallets are individual holders, all these little bubbles scattered throughout. So this, with so few transfer bubbles like we saw in by the BitGet, and so few clusters, shows these are real holders and the ability to actually identify that there's a wide discrepancy of holders. That's what I really like. That's where I'm like, this is great. This is great.
So real quick. Oh, go ahead, Seg.
So I was going to ask, like, at what stage are you using bubble map? Are you using it like, say, for example, on tokens who have not yet graduated to radium, or are you using it later on when the tokens have been around for a really long time?
Oh, so I use it the second I look at a token. Yeah. Like I look at it the very first second that I get into anything. Pre-radium's great. So like Ray, if you actually want to pop up the Solana chart for Dev, a token that launched today, it's a good way that we can look at something that ran to 20 million. And that's one that I'm interested in. So Ray, if you go over to the search right by listed tokens and search for Dev, I can also just send you the contract address because there's probably a lot.
Yeah,
So
I linked it.
that. The way that
let
I do,
me pull that contract address up.
so that's what I actually like looking at is any token that I'm buying in, I pop open the bubble map because it's the easiest way to see if the dev or deployer wallet has just sniped their own launch and bought a ton of stuff. Like that's where I'm like, yeah, this is a little bit better for me to see. And so, yeah, it's called My Dog is a Dev. Huge cluster right there that you can actually see. So if we interact with this, owns 70% of the supply. Most likely, though, that is either a Meteor wallet, early wallet in, I guess, could be that as well. There's some concerns on that. But the benefit is the dev openly said, I'm buying a ton of this supply and locking it up for marketing, KOLs, everything else. We saw this token run to $20 million. So you have the transparency saying, I did this action. We can see on chain that that's correct. And the benefit is all these other discrepancies here, small wallets, few transfers. It's a good bubble map with the exception of that cluster, which is why I'm like, this is a good sign. If you end up seeing those communications and understand that why is this token running to $20 million? What's going on with it? What's actually happening? We can get some very clear insight and understand that, okay, there's actually a decent number of unique holders. Nobody holds a huge percentage, 4% across a couple wallets, not too bad. And holding 69 on clusters, knowing that it was the dev, knowing that it's a team, means that they can probably give allocation to exchanges and some other places, which is really good to see. That's the nice thing about it. And I look at it, this token launched today, and we already have a clear picture of where the token's being sent and how it's being managed. It's my go-to tool. When I say I use it every day, I couldn't tell you the last time I did not use bubble maps.
And just if you're just listening, so you understand, like when we looked at those different bubble maps, the first one just showed that one dickhead was, or two or three different people were essentially just trying to create the illusion that there was proper distribution when in reality it was just all them. When you looked at the ApeCoin one, for example, there were many, many, many small nodes implying, actual unique wallet distribution with one, central node in the middle, which is the staking component to the coin. So that's very clearly indicated by the graphics. One of our audience members pointed out the beautiful graphics from Bubble Map. Bubble Maps. It is a really impressive platform in terms of the way they did this UI. It's super simple yet sophisticated. And then this one, My Dog is the Dev. You just heard Easy's breakdown. It's it's pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, anything else on here that we should talk about with Bubble Maps and these different tokens?
I think that's just the main thing is like use these tools to your advantage. You can use them in Bullx, who's also a partner, which is great. That's exactly where I use it. I look at these charts. I'm able to quickly identify what's going on with the token, how it works, what's the allocation, how people are exchanging it. Bubble Maps also has some great documentation. If this is all unfamiliar to you or sounds like a foreign language, the documentation is really easy to understand. It's well worth it. It helps you prevent getting rugged because you can quickly see if a surging token is insider traded or not, and even identify trends where like smart wallets are buying, large whales wallets are buying more on dips. And using these tools will help you in everything you buy, even on like, you can use a bubble map for Solana and see if like exchanges are dumping or if a big wallet who's like a long-term holder is adding more on dips. It's just a great analytics tool where like you don't have to understand SolScan or EtherScan to try to make sense of the confusing part of it. This is the big thing. Like this is what I really like is the visuals and the easiness to understand it.
Very nice. Ellie.jpg saying, okay, I'm getting this now. This is pretty awesome. We need a visual of a token for years. Big shout out to Bubble Maps, our partners for today's show, and just with a kick-ass platform that's super duper useful and directly in line with what this show is about. And what we try to focus on here. Very good stuff. Slick UI. Go to bubblemaps.io, ladies and gentlemen. So real quick, we got Top Dog to wrap up today. So we had some resolutions from last week. We talked about the majors in Bitcoin, the majors in crypto. Turns out that Bitcoin was the best performer out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. We talked about Clemente versus Nick on Fantasy Top. Turns out Nick won. Look at that. We talked about how many pump.fun tokens were going to be launched, over under 70K. The answer was under. We talked about the highest CryptoPunk sale. We all got wrecked on that one. It seems like I went over.
Not me.
Not Ray, though. Come on now, not Ray. And then Donald Trump saying comrade Kamala during the debate. He did actually say it, which is pretty crazy. So look, standings, we're looking good. Bo Puppo up there, 67% hit rate, 31 points. He's the top dog thus far. Worth mentioning that Ellie.jpg's right there with a 68% hit rate too. Some other highlights. I actually have a 68% hit rate, so that's pretty cool. Nick has a 67% hit rate. Signal needs to catch up. Sig's at 49, and then Easy's at 50. So here we go. To be fair, the more you do it, the more opportunity there is to lose. So first question, how much is the Fed going to cut rates next week? 0, 25, or 50 bips? I'm going to go 25.
25.
I'm going 25.
Wait, sorry, Easy. You've been hopping on about 50 basis points.
I know. I was like dead set on 50, but after the recent data that came out last week, it basically seems like a surefire situation. It'll be 25, at least for the first one. If data does not improve, then they'll ramp following it. So it does seem that they're going to start slow. They have 550 bips that they can cut based on rates that have been raised. So they have a ton of ammunition for this. I think it's going to be 25 to start. And depending on what actually happens here, what we'll actually see moving forward is going to be the more interesting thing.
Interesting. I'm going to say 25 as well. I'm going to stick to 25. I always thought it was going to be 25 in September. We'll see.
I'm going to go with 50. We saw a massive spike to 35% for 50 on Polymarket over the last 12 hours. So I'm going to follow that momentum, try to separate a little bit.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is juicy. I'm still going to go 25. Will Trump say cat at his Nevada rally later today? Come on. Yeah. Duh. You think he's not going to say the word cat? Come on.
I think he does, because everyone's been coming out with videos saying that it's a true story. Like after that whole debate, all on TikTok, there were people from Springfield being like, it's true. They've been eating cats. That's what some people have. That's what some people do. So I think he will say it.
Easy.
I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna go yes. I don't care. I'm going yes.
I'm going no again. We'll split it. 50% on Polymarket though, for the record. So it's a tight one.
I mean, you saw the viral TikTok video with the dope record, the hot song. Eat the cat. Eat the. Oh, you didn't. Oh, wait a minute. I
saw a good Bold Leonidas comic though.
Wait a minute. I cannot believe that you did not see this. We're not moving on from this until we do this real quick. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. It's just completely.
That's funny.
What's that say? Oh, someone read this while I pull this up, please.
Mr. Simpson, I have some bad news about your cat, Snowball.
That's pretty funny.
Springfield, The Simpsons.
Right. That's actually super funny,
that
dude.
Might be the best Bold Leonidas comic.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
It's super funny, dude. Twitter is just the as it stands right now, and it will get better. It is the worst platform when it comes to finding content, like video content. It is an
I tweeted about this 2 days ago, dude. I was like, this platform.
You wrote it?
I literally posted how pissed off I was about long form video, because I've been posting my long form videos on Twitter as well, outside of YouTube, just because they're two completely separate audiences. They go into the ghost town after you post it. I had 40,000 impressions on one. No one will ever see that video again. Ever.
Exactly.
And the feedback on it was electric. People were huge fans of the video. It'll never get recycled. It'll never get pushed to anybody ever again. It's gone.
Never again. Real quick, Ray, I just pinged you the video if you want to just hit this hot record real quick, because the internet's completely undefeated. Just want to play this one, and then we're going to move on to the next question, which is a fun one, a very fun one. But do you got that thing that I sent you in the private chat, Ray? Here we go. This is on TikTok right here.
They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.
One more. Last one.
Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're
The
eating.
Zoomers are in, man.
Eating
The
the
Zoomers
cats.
are
Eat the
cooking with
cat.
this.
Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Eat the cats. Eat the cats.
I thought that was Simone Biles for just a moment. I was like, they got to her too.
That'd be pretty funny. All right. Next question. We got 3 more questions. Karate Combat Influencer Fight Club next week in Singapore. We will be there. Are you betting on tactical investing? Or are you betting on Barney? Quick breakdown. Tactical investing is a bigger guy. He's already competed in Karate Combat. He knocked down a big opponent in his last fight, but he's much less technical than Barney. Barney is the guy that fought Ansem. He's been fighting for 3 years. I'm going to go with Barney.
I got Barney.
I got
You can't
tactical.
hit hands, bro.
I'm taking tactical.
Betting on power. So is Tristan.
Can't fade the hands.
Yep, taking tactical. The same thing I said yesterday. I think he's got the power to outlast.
Wow. Well, look at that. That's going to be a fun fucking fight. I can't wait to see that in person. That's going to be sick. All right, next question. Nick's most recent viral Subway video. Subway video? Which one? Oh, that one. Over under 750K views. It's at 602. This is an interesting one because on Twitter, all of a sudden, like Easy pointed out, the video views just fall off a cliff. It'll just never be viewed again. So it's a random, it'll essentially just be a random stop to video views. Typically, it's at 602. I'm going to go over. I think it's got legs. People have reached out to me about this video. Crypto people think that this idea is absolutely hilarious. Crypto people also love AI. I'm going to go over.
Under.
Okay.
Under. I'm fading Nick. I'm done with him.
You're betting against. Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to go under.
Okay.
I'm going to take over. I'm not good at Twitter analytics, but it's been cooking. I think this is like 5:50 this morning when I made this question, so it's already cooked another 50K real
Such
quick.
a good video, dude. Imagine you're getting off of work, heading home. It's been a long, exhausting day. You're dealing with dickheads on the phone. Your boss pisses you off, and it's Nick and Gary Gensler with a dildo on his head getting onto the train.
It really is. It really is.
Really...
It's really something. I mean, this guy on the left, this Dominican dude that lives in New York, is just like, come on, man, what are we doing here? All right. Anyway, number 5, Trump's World Liberty Financial Twitter space, over or under 75 minutes. I'm gonna go under because I'm going under on that.
Over
Under.
75 minutes.
I'm going to go over as well.
Yeah, just based on his speeches, the way he talks, cadences, town halls, everything else. The guy loves to slam yappuccinos before he gets onto these things. We're going over.
All right. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Put in your picks. Ray will record them, and we will continue playing our favorite game, Top Dog, and see who will ultimately be the top dog. I guess at the end of the year, we'll do an annual season. Might as well just do it whole hog and do the annual season. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. I won't be here, but Signal and Ray will be doing it. I guess Easy in theory could do it too, because it's before the conference, but we'll be on a plane to Singapore at that time. Ray, let's close out. I'll give you a few minutes to get it ready. Let's close out with the Eat the Cat, Eating the Dogs video, the TikTok sensation here. We're going to close out with that one, and everyone have a great weekend. But the show's available on Apple and Spotify podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. It's available on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button. That's how you can actually see the show while we do the show. You can actually watch the visuals. If you want to just listen, it's also available on Twitter Spaces. We will catch you next time. Thanks for listening, everyone.